And this weak situation of our students has also been felt by all the stakeholders. I mean, parents, employers, educationals, and decision makers. And moreover, present day-to-day medical advancements make it inevitable for medical students to improve their specific linguistic skills. So I think this has become the need of the time, and we should think it seriously. Now I just want to explain my research problem with its significance. As I referred before, that I have taken two skills, reading and writing, for this research purposes. And in reading skills, I would like to focus on the evaluation of medical students' reading and writing skills, such as first one is reading comprehension, and the second one is linguistic competency. Students' reading comprehension will be checked with different types of activities like summarizing or finding the main ideas, making cause and effect relations, and inferencing. And in linguistic competency, we will like to find out students' level of understanding related to syntax and semantics. So in this way, we will try to find out that what is the actual level of students' comprehension related to reading skill. But in writing skills, a focus will be given on students' writing particularly, and it will include organization, progression of ideas, flow, audience, register, and mechanics, etc. Now we have a flow chart which will explain different stages of our medical students throughout their academic career, and it also shows that in what particular semester we are going to take their sample. So all the red colors which are being shown here will be our focus sampling, our focus stages for our sampling. So in this way, this flow chart will help us to understand our whole mechanism of work. Then later on, there is a graph type of thing that explains about rubrics. There is a reading rubric for different types of levels. I mean, in first year, we will have our students at ELC, and their reading skills will be examined with the help of this rubric. And then at third year, when they are in their medical college, their reading skill will be examined with the help of the same rubric standard. And in the same way, we will take final year students' reading skills papers, and we will try to find out their potential, that how far they are good in understanding all the things. So now I would like to say that why it is necessary to investigate the problem. What is the main need of it? Actually, the main need of this one is this, that it can help us to get some guidelines and then we will be able to get an insight about students' weaknesses in the reading and writing competencies, to understand students' reading comprehension and their familiarity with the linguistic aspects such as semantics, syntax, and specific genre of the medical English, to make analysis about students' knowledge of basic writing skills such as organization, progression of ideas, clarity, syntax, semantics, and mechanics. And we can also know about that how can be it important to upgrade the current ESP reading and writing courses for medical students in Saudi Arabia. Now, specifically we will consider about the research objectives. The main objectives of the study are given below. For reading skills, there are two main objectives. Number one is to assess medical students' skill of reading comprehension through inferencing, finding the main ideas and making cause and effect relationships. And the second objective related to reading skill is to assess linguistic aspects such as semantics, syntax, register with reference to the reading skills. And in writing skills, we will focus on to explore medical students' perceptions and their problems related to organization, progression of ideas, flow, audience, syntax, semantics, and mechanics, and other essential components of the ESP writing. Now let's talk about the limitations of this study. There are some limitations in this study. The first one is this, that only male students' problem or difficulties in the ESP reading and writing skills will be brought in the process of analysis. And the second one is this, that only male faculty members will be included in this study. Actually, due to the social and cultural issues, female faculty members are excluded. And these two aspects can be the main limitations of this study. Now, I would like to describe that what are the main research questions. Question number one is that how effective is the reading comprehension skill of medical students for their specific purposes? Second, how effectively medical students can demonstrate their writing skills for their specific purposes. Third, what is the level of improvement for the reading and writing skills throughout the academic years of medical students? So these three questions can be the main research questions here in this study. Now let's talk about the sample size. I would like to explain here that samples can be of two types. We will take one sample for students and the other one is for the teachers. For students, we will select students, or we will take students at first year level, then we will take students at third year in medical college, and finally at the end in the final year students. So their reading and writing samples will be taken, and these papers will be examined properly with the help of the rubrics which we have earlier made. And related to teacher sampling, we will select those teachers who have been in the busy in the work of teaching to medical students, especially both the studies, especially both the skills, reading and writing. So they have, experience. So for that reason, we will take their opinions, and then finally we will describe, or we will make analysis also. So on the whole, we can say that our participant of research will be, number one, medical students of first year, third year, and final year. Then we will have ESP teachers sample, and furthermore, we will take subject specialist teachers also, who are teaching science subjects in medical colleges. So then, students and two types of teachers who are teaching ESP English as well as reading and writing skills in medical college, their opinions will be analyzed and estimated. Now, what are the research tools in our research? Basically, we can say that research tools, as you know, that are really important. So, questionnaire for ESP teachers, for especially those teachers who are teaching writing, and one questionnaire will also be made for teachers who are teaching reading skills. So, two separate questionnaires will be used for for two separate types of teachers. And beside of this questionnaire, we will make the rubric for reading and writing skills also. There will be two rubrics separately for each skill. Now let's talk about the points of reading rubric. In reading rubric, we will have focus on two aspects as these are the standard aspects. For example, reading comprehension and linguistic aspects. And for these two basic aspects, we will, find out, or we will take some activities, and with the help of these activities, we will examine students' reading potential. And moreover, we can say that rubric for reading skills can be up to 6-point scale. I mean, if a person is having a, highest score achiever and the lowest score achiever will be categorized separately. So actually it's so comprehensive and it will take a long time to explain. So I think then we should move ahead on the writing rubric also. Writing rubric, it will be our kind of touchstone, and with the help of this tool of research, we can analyze our students' writing skill. We will examine students' write-ups, which they have completed in their exam papers previously, and we will try to analyze according to the points which we have already finalized in our rubric. And the points which are important in writing rubric are organization, then progression of ideas, genre of writing, whether this writing is informative, narrative, or scientific. And we will also like to find out that what type of register they are using, and the level of mechanics or conventions in their writing skills. So these things will be examined. Again, I would like to say that there is a detailed rubric items here, and I don't think so that there's a need to explain every point of it, but most probably we can say that there will be 6-point uh, level of this writing rubric, and those who are, really higher achievers, they will be given 6 point, and those who are lower achiever will be given zero point 0.1. Now, let's have an idea about the points which are really important for our literature review. Collecting the data related to literature review, I think that these points are really very important. First one is that we have to focus on the early beginning of English for specific purposes. We have to, give references, historical, or we should give a historical review also. Then ESP and globalizations. These two aspects are also very important. And third one is ESP in Saudi Arabian context. What type of research has already been completed in this context, and what is required more. And furthermore, we can say that differences between general English and ESP English will also be considered important in literature review. And altogether, we can find out that needs analysis and the ESP in the eyes of other scholars will also be considered important. Now, when we talk about early beginning of English for specific purposes, so in this regard, we will find out that there are two main scholars. Their work is really important, and their quotations or their reference can be a really important one to mention here. For example, Dudley, Evans and St. John's in 1998 explains that, they both explain that the origin of teaching language for specific purposes can be traced far back as the Greek and Roman empires. Okay. Second, Lemry CE in 2016 state that after 1945, the new world knew an age of massive growth in all activities, especially economic, technical and scientific, which created a demand for an international language. ESP became an important field since its early beginning in 1906. In the beginning, it emphasized the grammatical analysis of technical tasks. But later on, we can find out that second phase appeared with discourse analysis, and in 1970s, it focused on learners' necessary skills, which led to the development of needs analysis. During 1980s, the learners-centered approach got immense popularity due to education psychology. It helped focus on specific needs of target learners to satisfy their professional or vocational related demands. It got its relevance to subjective and situational needs. Following the needs analysis era, general and rhetorical moves appeared, leading to the corpus linguistics. Now, there's a detail about ESP and globalization, and then I think there's a detail in ESP in Saudi context. So when we talk about ESP in Saudi context, we can explain that there is no such a large research work has conducted in this field, especially related to reading and writing skills. But generally, overall, we may say that there are some contributors who have done a good job in their in the field of ESP. For example, Harabi in 2005, Shehri 2008, Makarmi 2010, Gobain 2014, Abba Hussein 2016. All these people, I mean, more or less have done a good job uh, just to improve the conditions or just to analyze the conditions in ESP, especially in the Saudi context. Now here we have difference between General English and ESP. This is also, I mean, very important aspect of literature review, because I think that only these two fields can be differentiated with the help of needs analysis, because both the fields have different needs of students, and when they have different needs of students, so they are totally different fields. So if we have to define each field, then we have to focus on the needs of our students, and then it can be defined, it can be explained properly, or it can be understood properly. Then what is ESP? Again, very important question and very important concept related to this research. Needs analysis is also very important. And now I think this component, which is reading skills here, it will also get some importance in our literature review. That what is the reading skills, and what is the reading process, and what type of reading we are having here for our students. So in this way, we should. I would like to. I would like to focus on this aspect also. For example, purpose of reading. Here I have mentioned here that it is a multi-purpose activity, and it explains that reading is carried out for pleasure, information, education and professional responsibility, or for a business activity. The following activity can be significant for increasing comprehension. Here I should speak, activities, not activity. So here we have many activities like identification, classification, anticipation, skimming, scanning, confirmation, final study, thorough reading, etc. All these things are important with reference to reading skill. Now let's talk about writing skills. Writing is an important skill, and it should not be ignored in our literature review, as we know that it is carried out in different forms such as narrative, descriptive, informative, scientific or literary type of writing. And components of writing are, there are many significant components of writing. However, only a few are being given. As earlier we have mentioned, I don't think so there's a need to repeat it again and again. Let's start now. Writing skill. Yes, the writing process. The writing process continues with these points. For example, pre-writing, writing, revising, editing, writing a final draft, essentials of writing. Following factors are considered to be very essential for writing. For example, word choice, usage of short and simple words, usage of concrete words, preferences should be given to the active voice, then passive voice, developing effective paragraph, and there should be a logical transition of ideas in a paragraph. And editing and rewriting also, the main component of writing. Mechanics of writing, for example, this is really important factor in which punctuation, capitalization, spellings, etc. are considered important. Now, let's talk about the research design. According to research design, I would like to say that this study will focus generally on the evaluation of the reading and writing skills of the ESP program for medical students in Saudi Arabia, according to their academic and workplace English language needs. So this is the main focus of our research, and that is the major part of our research design as well. For this one, we will use a mixed method approach, including qualitative and quantitative, then formative and summative, as well as process and product approaches will be used to evaluate the current ESP reading and writing skills of medical students in Saudi Arabia. The summative evaluation will be used to evaluate the achievement results at the completion of an academic term. The product evaluation will be brought in use to assess the effectiveness of the students' learning with reference to the reading and writing skills. The study will bring in use questionnaires, observations, and document analysis to gather qualitative and quantitative data, evaluating the reading and writing skills of the ESP program. And the study design will cover the following major parts also. We will have our first chapter named as statement of the topic. Chapter 2 will be review about the relevant literature, and chapter 3 will be data collection. Chapter 4 will be analysis of data. Chapter 5 will be conclusion, recommendations, and suggestions. Now, at the end of this explanation, I would like to explain here that all these aspects which I have included in my research proposal have been taken by the guideline given by the University of Malaya. And I would like to request to my supervisor, Dr. Tiomiling, and Dr. Kumaran, and his team members, that if they find any kind of changes, modification, or any kind of further explanation from my side, I would like to be very happy to listen anything from them. And according to their guidance, according to their counseling and advice, I would like to change accordingly in this proposal. I'm really thankful to everybody who has participated in this work and to make it in really existence. Thank you very much, and God bless you.